Well, today we are going to be doing one of the many different fraction games that will help children learn how to order fractions on a number line, and not just fractions, but also when we're dealing with decimals and percents. This is a major standard for both 5th and 6th grade to be able to compare and order fractions. So I like to make this fun for our students, and I'm going to show you a game so that it can be fun for your students as well. Now, it's a fairly simple, straightforward game. You need dice for them to roll. This is how they're going to find their fractions. I have larger dice. You can use small dice works as well. In addition to this, we're going to be playing basketball. And now, it's not like a normal basketball game when you're in the classroom. You can go out onto a court with an actual basket to shoot hoops. However, for today, and what I would do in my classroom as well, we're going to use a piece of paper, becomes our ball. So we're going to wad it up, and anyone want to guess what our basket is? A bucket, a paper bag, a wicker basket, anything like that will work. I have lined up spaces on the ground that the students can shoot from, and so if you make the basket, you'll move back, and if you miss it, you'll move forward, so that everyone will get a chance to have success and make some of the baskets. Now with the dice are going to determine how many baskets you shoot. You're going to roll both dice. So if I roll, what I land on? I have a 6 and a 2. So I'm going to shoot 8 hoops, as you said. Now, we can also make a fraction with the 6 and the 2. What fraction would that be? What do you think?
6 over 2.
6 over 2. Good. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So while I'm writing this, can you think, is there a different fraction I can make with the 6 and a 2? Can you think? Can I flip it? Instead of saying 6 over 2, I could have 2 over
6.
Yeah, 2 over 6. And as you know, there are many different ways we can write these still, in that we can reduce them. Do you remember what this fraction is called when it's 6 over 2? Sometimes we say it's top-heavy, or it's an
improper fraction.
Very good, it's an improper fraction. So we could write it as a mixed number, but I want just fractions that are less than the number 1. Which of these two fractions is less than the number 1? So when we're dealing with fractions, it's really good to use them. The more we use fractions, the more familiar we are with them. So we can use fractions all the time. We can say, hey, there's 2 blue cars there and 1 red car. So what fraction of the total cars are blue? 2 out of 3. So we can use fractions in our daily life, and the more you use fractions, the more comfortable you are with them. So when we're looking at fractions, we want fractions where the top number, what's the top number called? Do you remember what this is called?
Denominator?
Close. That's the bottom. The bottom is the denominator and the top is the numerator. So we want the numerator to be smaller than the denominator is what we're going to be doing in this activity. And I'll be helping you all the way through. So we're going to be setting this up where you guys actually get to play this game, and you at home will get to learn how to play this. So I rolled a number 8. So I'm going to start at the starting point. So this is the starting point, is the 3rd piece of tape. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to shoot a basket. And I have 8 shots. If I miss it, I move forward. If I make it, I move back. So will you help me keep track of how many shots I make? So I missed already. So I'm going to move up 1. So what fraction, how many shots have I made?
1.1.
No, I've taken 1. I've made 0. So right now my fraction is 0 out of 1. So hopefully I can make it from there. All right, so I made it. So I've made 1, and how many shots have I taken? 2. So my fraction is 1 over 2, or 1/2. So I made the shot, so I move back. All right. So I made it. So now I've made 2 out of, how many total have I taken?
3.
3. So I've made 2 out of 3. So you guys are going to be working together to help each other remember. And at this time, they're going to roll the dice for themselves so they can start playing the game as well. All right. So how many total?
5.
So 5 total. And what's her fraction? If we were to turn this into a fraction,
2/3.
2/3. Very good. All right. And Haley, would you like to roll? Oh, how many total?
2.
2. And if we were to turn this into a fraction, what would we have?
1.
Very good. 1 over 1, which equals 1 whole. All right. All right. How many total?
11.
Great. And if we were to turn this into a fraction?
6 over 5. Or
6 over-
5 over 6.
Very good. All right. So how many total?
6.
Very good. And what would our fraction be?
1 over 5.
Very good. So now the students are actually shooting. All right, so what was your fraction?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? All right, so come on back and write that down. He's made 4 and he's taken 5. Very good. So now he's 5 for 6. He made it. So he's 6, 4. He's taken 7. 6 for 7. Okay, I'm going to ask you what fraction he's at next. So he's at 5 out of 7 right now. Nice try. So you've made 5 out of
8.
Very good. So move up 1. Now the students are writing down their fractions. In just a moment, they will be putting them on a number line. This is what your number line is going to look like. In order to put them on your number line, we can't put them just anywhere. Let's see. So you're going to have to figure out where your fraction goes. Okay, so if this is, let's make this one 0. If this is 0, this end over here is going to be 1. And your fractions are going to go somewhere on this number line. We have to figure out where, and that's going to be your job.
Over half. Is it half of 5?
Okay, so 3/5. 3 is not half of 5. Okay, so is 3 more than half of 5, or is 3 less than half of 5? More. So it should be on this side, right? Because it's more than 1/2. But it's a little bit more. What about this one?
I have to set this one in front.
It's a half also, because 3 is half of 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we attach it to this one? Because it's 1/2.
It's just
Very good. So 6/10 is 0.6. Good. And what we're going to do is we are dividing. You're dividing by 10. This sign, let me borrow your board for a second. This sign actually means divided by. So what we have here is 6 divided by 10. And you know that you can just move the decimal. So this is 0.6. So why don't we write 0.6 on that Post-it note? So we have 0.6 and we have 0.63. Should they be so far apart?
no.
They're pretty close together, huh?
Yeah.
They're only 3/100ths, 0.03 away from each other, so they probably should be really close together. Now let's look at this 1/2 again. What's 1/2 as a decimal?
0.1.
Good guess, but no.
0.50.
0.5. You can think of money. If I have $1, what's half of $1?
50.
50 cents. That's right. So half of 1 is 0.5. So in between 0.5 and 1, we have 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. So where would 0.6 be? Would it be closer to the 0.5 or closer to the 0.9 and the 1.0? Probably closer to the 0.5. So why don't we go ahead and fix those? Let's see. So if this were 0.5, 0.5, 0.6. Are they going to be the same distance apart? The whole 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9.
Probably not.
So they need to be spaced evenly. Remember, a number line is like a ruler. 3/5 is a special number. There's a couple different things we can do with this number. So to put it in order, we could change it to a decimal, or we could change it to a decimal, or we could convert it to a different fraction. So are you telling me we could call this, all three of these are the same number? 6/10, 0.6, 3/5? They're all the same, huh? So fractions,
It would be 0.6.
it'd be 0.6. Good. So this made it easy to mark it, because you recognize that 3/5 is the same as 6/10. All right, so let's take a look at our number line here. We have 0. What's the next fraction we have?
1/2.
1/2. Good. And what's another way of having 1/2?
3/6.
3/6. And as a decimal? Remember?
0.5.
0.5, 0.5. Good. And what fraction do we have after 1/2?
6/10.
6/10, or 3/5, or 0.6. Good. There are lots of different ways. And after that we have?
0.62.
Yep. And then our last fraction, what do we have?
1.
1. And really that could also be said 1/1, or just 1. So you can continue this activity by having them go through percentages. You can also have them use the fractions that they made when I rolled a 2 and a 6. Instead of saying, oh, I made 8 shots, to give you more numbers to work with, I can use that fraction of 2/6 and determine where that goes on the number line. So from here, there are a variety of different activities you can do. You can come back to this throughout the year. This can even make a good quick transitioning activity, just to keep fractions fresh in your mind.